each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. Happy Friday. Friday. And I get the grandkids today. Get them for the weekend. We're doing Father's Day on Sunday. Last Sunday I just knew it would be too hard for I have two bonus kids and their father passed this year and you know, I found it kind of selfish of me to take up their time on that day. So, what whiny butt? Imagine that we got some whiny cats. Oh, yeah, come here. He's like, I want to go out to the sunroom, Dad. But the other two just take it. They always take and take and take. Those two stupid kitties, huh? Did you just want a little love? You just want a little love, huh? Okay. All right. So today we were talking about release from fear. We're going to be in a couple of different places. Looks like we're going to be in the big book mostly. But what we're going to do is we're going to start with As Bill Sees It, a grapevine reading or grapevine writing. Right. Well, right. No, he didn't want to go out. He just wanted love. But your love gets violent, dude. It does. Your love gets violent. The biting will start soon. It will. I know you want to be in my face. Here we go. Here comes the biting. See, there it is. There it is. No biting. You can't help it. You can't help it. I think he just gets too excited. He doesn't know what to do. Thank you for not biting my chin. Yeah, it's got some cleans, didn't we? Okay. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I'm with my kitty cat Ronan, who just can't get enough. Just can't get enough. Here, let's do some dancing. Just can't get enough. Just can't get enough. All right. Ow. All right. Got thwacked in the face with a tail there. Probably revenge for the dancing. So, resolving fear. We're in As Bill Sees It. Man, I think everybody's had enough of Dion. We ain't got nobody today. All right, let's do it anyway. Somebody will show up eventually. So, the problem of resolving fear has two aspects. We shall have to try for all the freedoms from fear that is possible for us to attain. Then we shall need to find both the courage and the grace to deal constructively with whatever fear remains. In the beginning, the number one fear is going to be I don't want to drink again. Relapse is going to be the fear. But let's do this. Let's do this. Where's my phone? Simi, poke it. Where are the top 10 fears? All right, let's go find out what the top 10 fears are. Please do not say them out loud. Okay. All right. The number one fear is loved ones dying. Then is loved ones becoming seriously ill, personally becoming seriously ill, not having enough money for retirement, mass shootings, gun violence, losing physical mobility, corrupt government officials, chronic diseases, high medical bills, U.S. getting involved in another world war. No, that's not what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for right here. Fear of heights, fear of spiders, social phobias, fear of snakes, fear of dogs, fear of injections, needles, fear of situations where escape might be difficult, fear of flying, fear of enclosed spaces, fear of germs. There's always one of the top most common fears. The number one fear, see, they're missing some things here. What are the core 5 fears? That's what we're trying to get to. All right. These are the first 5. These are the 5 core fears. Abandonment. Abandonment is the number one fear. Core fear. We're alcoholics. We got to get down to causes and conditions. Hi, Amber. It is too fucking hot outside. I got most of my yard work done during the spring this year. Not all of it, though. There's going to be some pretty warm days ahead for Dion. So, abandonment is the number one core fear. Loss of identity. Okay. These two things, how do they combine to, how do they kind of go with alcoholism? All right. Well, abandonment. It isn't just the people in our lives, but the abandonment of alcohol leaving our lives, our best friend. There's a fear of it. But yeah, absolutely. It's my number one fear, abandonment. Well, aside from taking away my freedom when I didn't do anything wrong, that's happened to me a lot in my life. Because being locked up because of who I am. It drove me nuts. Not nuts, but it scared the heck out of me. All right. I hope that I never get dementia and be put in a home because I will do nothing but escape. I will do nothing but escape. My brain's just geared towards that. So loss of identity. At least we're an alcoholic. Right? What does it say in the big book? I don't want to be the hole in the donut. What am I going to become? The hole in the donut? I'll be a non-entity. I won't have an identity because when you don't have an identity, you don't know who you are. You don't know what to be. But at least as an alcoholic, I know what I am. I am what I am, and that's all that I am for my Popeye people out there. Loss of meaning, having meaning in life. Sounds a lot like the bedevilments we talk about on page 52. Huh. I bet feeling useless is going to come up because I just brought it up. Feeling useless is a big fear. So loss of purpose, see? So loss of meaning, having meaning in life, like our kids. Some of us, not all of us, have kids that don't talk to us anymore. Yeah. And your meaning goes out the fucking window. Because then you're no longer a father, a mother. When children leave the house and it becomes and you become an empty nester, I can tell you now it's going to mess with the woman more than the man. The man's usually like, bye. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Good luck out there. Love ya. Not always. Not always. Right? You just hope they come back. And they do. They do. They need you eventually. So you got to be a good example, right? So loss of purpose and death. Yeah, having no purpose in our lives. Not being a help to other people, not being useful, that's purpose. Yeah. You know, I had to find purpose and meaning and everything else in my life, sitting at home. All right. Not as much anymore. I've been proud of myself. I've been doing little things, just getting out of the house, doing little things. Yesterday, instead of calling West Pines and saying, "Hey, we'd like to maybe start some AA meetings here, do some other things. What do you guys think?" I stopped by. It was right next door to where I had to get my scripts. I'm like, I'm just going to stop by, let them see my face. Because usually they get phone calls, emails. I do better face to face when it comes to this stuff. I've got this charisma and I will use it when they can see my eyes shining and smiling, things like that. I had a pretty good conversation with the person. I could tell she was in a hurry, but I'm the kind of person where it's like, I got you. I'm going to kind of hold on to you as long as I can. No codependency problems here, right? None here. So now we're going to go to the big book, page 67. Page 67. Oh, isn't it summer solstice today? If so, happy summer solstice. Happy summer solstice. Summer solstice. Sorry, I'm stimming. Solstice. Summer solstice. A lot of S's in that. I forgot which page we were going to. 67. All right. Dun, dun, dun. Is it 67 is 68? Yes, it is. Okay. Oh, there we are, down at the bottom. All right. There's a lot of great places to start here. So let's start on page. Well, it wants us to go 67 to 68. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. So we are going to start on the top of page 67. Let's start on the very bottom of page 66. That's where we're going to start. Okay. This was our course. We realized that people who wronged us were perhaps spiritually sick, kind of like us. Though we did not like their symptoms and the way they disturbed us, they, like ourselves, were sick too. We asked God to help us show them the same tolerance, pity. I'm not going to give pity. I don't do pity. Pity leads to sympathy, and sympathy is no good. It doesn't work very well. All right. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. I'm like, why did this person call you? Why you were in the hospital? You're the one going into surgery. You're doing this. Why was this person crying? Because they were worried about. I'm like, no, there was something else going on there. There's something else. People don't jump on like that. Something wasn't. But at the same time, I'm also looking for things in this person that I don't want to like. So that's probably more the fact. Bad example. See, it wasn't on them, it's on me. Funny how the truth comes out when you start running your fucking mouth. Funny how that works, but I don't do pity. Mm-mm. No. I will empathize with you. I will meet you where you're at. Absolutely, I will. All right. So, and patience that we would cheerfully grant a sick friend. What about the people that did it for us? So, think of it, the way I think of it is this: I'm paying forward what somebody else gave to me. That's the way I look at it. When a person offended, we said to ourselves, this is a sick man. How can I be helpful to him? God save me from being angry. Thy will be done. That's the angry man's prayer. Okay. What I do not say is this is a sick man. I do not say that. I do not get to make that qualification. That's how, if it works for you, you do it. I'm just giving you my experience. This is a sick man. I don't get to make that judgment. No. God, how can I be helpful? Please save me from being angry. Thy will, not mine, be done. Sometimes it's just, God, save me from being angry. Thy will, not mine, be done. Okay. But I do not qualify things. I can't. Okay. We avoid retaliation or argument. We wouldn't treat sick people that way. Oh yeah, the fuck I wouldn't. I treated sick people very poorly. I mean, don't tell me I wouldn't treat sick people that way. Yeah, I did. Okay. Just being honest here, man. We wouldn't treat sick people that way. Okay, if we do, but we're different now, right? We understand this is how I kind of see it. The person might have a spiritual malady. That's as far as I'm gonna go. Might, I don't know. I do know that maybe they were like me when I got started. There we go. That's close enough. All right. But what I'm not going to do is argue with them. Yeah. I don't need to argue. Pick your battles. There's a difference between arguing and advocating. There's a difference, but we're getting to fears here. So we cannot be helpful to all people, but at least God will show us how to take a kindly and tolerant view of each and every one. See, I don't believe that I can help everybody, but I can help somebody. Yeah. If I could help everybody, heck, that number would be a lot higher than one. I'm telling you, my numbers have tanked. I don't know what's going on. I'm not even trying to figure out what's going on. To say it doesn't bother me would be a lie. Of course it bothers me. But then it reminds me why I do what I do. And then, see, and what is that? Well, it's a fear. What was the number one fear? Abandonment. When everybody just disappears, I feel abandoned. So maybe that's why it comes up, because I still have a fear of abandonment. But then I replace that fear with a little bit of courage. God is sending the people to me that he wants me to help. I have to continue staying open-minded. Okay? See how it fits? Even over something, I don't want to say trivial, but gosh, there are bigger problems out there than Dion's count on his lives. Definitely bigger problems. I was just in a meeting. People were complaining about how Maui has changed. And I'm like, God, what white people problems? I didn't want to hear it. Never been to Maui. Doubt I'll ever go to Maui. Oh, you poor things. All right. Referring to our list again, putting out of the minds the wrongs others had done, we resolutely look for our own mistakes. Where had we been selfish, dishonest, self-seeking, and frightened? Though the situation had not been entirely our fault, we tried to disregard the other person involved entirely. Where were we to blame? The inventory was ours, not the other man's. When we saw our faults, we listed them. We placed them before us in black and white. We admitted our wrongs honestly, and we were willing to set these matters straight. It's part of the fourth step there. It's kind of the ending of the fourth step, because we're getting to fear. Fear is kind of the fear one's kind of the last one. All right. And notice the title is Release from Fear. Fear doesn't go away. Look at the example just a little bit ago. Has my fear of abandonment gone away? No. No, it's still there. But it doesn't overwhelm me. I have been released from that fear. I have a different thought process about it. I can remember why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I continue to move forward. One day it might break through, but in the meantime, if I have to help one person at a time, I guess that's just the way it's got to be. Right? Yeah. So that way I don't have to have that fear. Here's the thing. I know it's not me. It's summertime. People fade. People fade away sometimes. I'm watching about 2-3 people do it right now. So probably should reach out, see how they're doing, right? Because they ain't showing up here. That means something else might be going on. So I can either sit and whine and cry that people didn't show up, or I can reach out and see how the fuck they're doing. Then that's probably the right way. Probably, huh? All right. Notice that the word fear is bracketed alongside the difficulties with Mr. Brown, Mrs. Jones, and the employer and the wife. This short word somehow touches about every aspect of our lives. It was an evil and corroding thread. The fabric of our existence was shot through with it. It set in motion trains of circumstances which brought us misfortune we felt we didn't deserve. But did we not? But did not we ourselves set the ball rolling? Sometimes fear ought to be classed with stealing, it seems to cause more trouble. I think we could probably do a little bit better than stealing nowadays, right? Good stretches. Everybody get in a good stretch. We all need it. Good stretches. Ah, ah. Got toothache too. Man, I should just go ahead and get that taken care of. All right. So we refused we refused our fears thoroughly. All right, let's do the right word now. We reviewed our fears thoroughly. We put them on paper, even though we had no resentment in connection with them, right? May you have fear of spiders. Do you have a resentment towards spiders? You might. You're an alcoholic. You might. The alcoholics do weird things like that. We'll build a resentment towards a cup, right? So we might, but in this case, no, we probably shouldn't have a resentment with it. Heights. Heights is one of my fears, but it's weird. You put me on a roller coaster? No, thank you. No, thank you. I used to be okay with it. I was like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. If, but it isn't heights that I have a fear of. Skyride, just moving along, nice, easy pace, 50 feet above, no, thank you. No. But if I climb up on a roof, if I go rock climbing, anything like that where I am in control, I'm fine with it. Airplanes, I seem to be okay with. Doesn't bother me. Probably because I really can't, just doesn't. Now, if that plane started going down, yeah, you'd probably see Dion's fear come out. So it wasn't a fear of heights, it was a fear of lack of control. All right, see? We got to get down to these things. It was a control issue, not a height issue. Some dumbass using those controls. Sorry. I'm going to have to get to know the dude first or lady, whoever's running it. Waterworld, fine with. I'm in control. I'm in control. Mostly water will throw you around, but yeah. So anyway, we asked ourselves why we had them. Wasn't it because self-reliance failed us? Self-reliance was good as far as it went, but it didn't go far enough. Some of us once had self-confidence, great self-confidence, but it didn't fully solve the fear problem or any other. When it made us cocky, it was worse. You know what I'm not scared of? Ghosts. I'm not. They don't scare me. I would love to go back to listening to horror stories when I go to sleep. I miss doing that. So my wife doesn't like it, and she tolerated it for some time, but I never really had great self-confidence. I do now. I have confidence in a lot of things, but I also understand where I'm not so great at other things. And that's okay too. You know, not going to be an expert at everything. But like yesterday, the internet wasn't working. I read online, oh, they're having a DNS problem. I know. I'm like, I know how to solve that. I know how to change DNS. Got it fixed. Their DNS might still be fucked up. My shit's working because I know how to change the DNS. My wife's like, what's DNS? I'm like, I really don't want to explain it all. I don't remember what it stands for, but I know what it does. It's part of the communication that goes back and forth. So anyway, and I used to install phones. I used to install like really large phone systems. I was a Microsoft engineer at one point, but you got to keep, and that's not like some master's degree or something. It's a certification through communications. I used to install cable, internet. That's chump comparing to putting in a phone switch with 200 phones. That's what I used to have to do, and then make sure everything goes, the phone call goes the way that it goes. Voice over IP is easy. That's mostly what people use now. But before, when we were just dealing with copper, now you'd open this cord, right? Or we call it cable. We call it tossing cable. But if you had 100 pair, could you imagine 100 pairs of wires, and you got to keep all of these straight? It would handle 100 phones. We used it for those big switches where you go into the room and you see where all the blue stuff's plugged in. That's what we'd use the 100 pair for. But anyway, all right, just a little bit of bragging there about what I used to do. I actually miss that kind of work. All right. So perhaps there's a better way instead of being cocky about it. Instead of being cocky about our fear or running from it, perhaps there is a better way. We think so. For we are now on a different basis, the basis of trusting and relying upon God. Trust is the answer to our fears. My higher power has a love language, and their love language is trust. And the more I trust my higher power, the more things seem to be better. All right? Trust and relying on God that He knows what He's doing. Last week, I did not have that. Right? My fear turns into anger. I don't know about anybody. Well, it happens with fear turns into one of two things, either anger or depression, if we're not trusting and relying on God. Right? It was just too much for me. It was too much. So, right? We trust infinite God rather than our finite selves. See, the thing is I was going through fears, but I was still praying. I was still relying on God. And that's why I didn't end up having to make any amends. Because I didn't take it out on, I didn't, not that I can think of. I'll have to double check with my wife. She would probably know better than me. She might come back and be like, yeah, that one nurse. We trust infinite God rather than fight. We are here. We are in the world to play the role He assigns. Just to the extent that we do as we think He would have us and humbly rely upon Him, does He enable us to match calamity with serenity. This is, this is possible. It is definitely possible to mix calamity with serenity. We do it all the time. Last week, no, I didn't. Is there calamity going on in my life right now? You bet there is. Sure. There's calamity going on in Amber's life too. Right? But we're matching it with serenity. We can laugh at things that used to piss us off. Right? Well, yeah, I was kind of expecting it to be disrupted here. So how are we gonna fix this real quick? Okay. We become solution oriented. instead of looking at all the problems. We're like, okay, those are the problems, but what's the solution? And we'll actually get kind of frustrated if we're working with somebody who refuses to get to a solution. It'll frustrate you because you're a solution oriented person. So we never apologize to anyone for depending on our creator. We can laugh at those who think spirituality way is the weakness. I don't laugh at them. There again, see, laughing at them just means, oh, I'm better than you. In my mind, anyway, that's how it would feel. So, I don't necessarily laugh, but nobody has come up to me and said, Dion, you're really weak because you depend upon God. Nobody has ever said that to me. Nobody really has the balls to say something like that to me. There's some benefits to having this voice. Nobody's ever said that to me. At least not to my face. Maybe they've thought it. Who knows? Paradoxically, is the way of strength. Verdict of the ages is that faith means courage. All men of faith have courage. So, what is the opposite of fear? It's courage. We do not have less fear, we gain more courage. And there's the key. Our fears are not taken away, they're subsided a little bit. They're not easy, but they're easier. And that is done with courage. Not the kind of courage that makes us cocky, but the kind of courage where it says, God, I'm going to trust and rely that you're doing what you're doing. And that in the end, it's going to work out. That's courage. Faith without works is dead. Faith with works is courage. And it starts with trust. And if you can't trust your higher power yet, trust the process. You can see the process happening in your AA meetings every day. You can trust that. They trust their God. We never apologize for God. Instead, we let Him demonstrate through us what He can do. We ask Him to remove our fear and direct our attention to what He would have us be. At once, we commence to outgrow fear. And outgrowing fear means more courage. So, it's also the process of growing up. Fear has to do with emotional sobriety and our failure to grow up. All right. So now we're going to get to the reading for the daily reflections. Most of my decisions were based on fear. Alcohol made life easier to face. Yeah, I would agree with that. But the time came when alcohol was no longer an alternative to fear. No. In fact, it created more. Especially when paranoia starts to set in. The paranoia that everybody is out to get you. Right? Seeing shadow people. That's a fun one. Those aren't ghosts. Those are you don't they don't it doesn't exist. It's your brain making shit up. Right? One of the greatest gifts in AA for me has been the courage to take action, which I can do with God's help. After 5 years of sobriety, I had to deal with a heavy dose of fear. God put the people in my life to help me do that, and through my working the 12 steps, I am becoming the whole person I wish to be. And for that, I am deeply grateful. Stuff, man. Good stuff. So if you're in fear, pray, man. Pray and then go help another person. Get out of self. The answers come when we get out of self. That's when they show up. All right. All right, Amber, I hope you stay cool the rest of the day. Not going to happen, but I do wish it for you. I hope everybody has a great day. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.